Hey everyone, happy Wednesday, hump day. Got meteorologist Zach Gilday. Zach, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing all right.
He had the last couple of days off. You're nice and refreshed.
Back at it, and it's a pretty big day.
Yeah,
so
it could be. The potential's there for a big day. Now, the question is will it come to fruition? That's a question every time with a severe weather risk. Now, obviously, we got a 5 o'clock newscast. I still have a little bit to get prepared for that. So we're going to do about 15 minutes, just a little rapid fire kind of update. We'll try to answer as many questions as you have. I saw a comment about Reed Timmer. I haven't seen what Reed Timmer has, but I know he lost his shirt yesterday in a tornado in Colorado, and I know his car got hit by a tornado. He's saying the tornado threat has decreased. I do think that there's cloud cover and cool weather kind of over Fayetteville at the moment, but it's shifting east and got the tornado tie on, and let's dive into it. Let's not waste any of your time because we've got a lot of stuff going on. So I know we're going to have more and more people jumping on. You can watch the replay if you don't get all your questions answered. Of course, we got all our newscasts. And meteorologist Peyton Langford, he's out in the field. So he's actually doing some control in terms of monitoring potential damage and also giving us an idea of the environmental conditions out there.
Yep.
So you want to show what's going on? Let's check it out.
Let's see.
All right. So first of all, Howell Heating Cooling Mega Doppler showing some pretty quiet weather, except to the north. You can see some thunderstorms that are starting to blossom. This is where the upper level energy is a little stronger, and we can see how eventually that motion is taking it to the southeast. So even if we don't see isolated supercell development over the next couple of hours, eventually these storms are going to track southeast. And by the way, they have a ton of lightning. They're going to be highly electrified. You know how lightning was very active this morning. You could hear that thunder, and it wasn't just your typical little kind of distant rumbles. It was what we call staccato lightning.
Woke me up.
Yeah. Staccato lightning is the stuff that when it hits, it just goes.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, no word on the concert. Heard that Three Doors Down is not wanting to cancel. All of the weather information that they have received is making them think that they still might have the concert. So if you do have the concert tickets in hand and you're going to that, just make sure you're weather aware. And there's a very good chance that that gets shut down early. There's always a chance that storms evolve a little later, but we got a lot of energy moving in. So let's get to it. We'll show you what's happening. I don't think it's a good idea either, but I don't make the calls. I give the information and they can decide what they want to do with it. There's the tornado watch going until 10 o'clock. That's for almost the entire weather coverage area. The only reason it's not included for Boone, Newton, Johnson, Logan, and Scott County, because those are farther east. And by 10 o'clock, those storms will start knocking on their doorstep. So I do expect an expansion of a watch or an additional watch to be issued farther east. So be aware of that. All right, here, let's look at the satellite and radar, and you'll see this. We had some pockets of clouds. We even had a little bit of sprinkles.
Which
I was out there. Yeah.
Which is good.
Now, why is that good, Zach? What's the reasoning for that?
Well, we don't want sun, so we don't want more instability, and the rain kind of cools down the atmosphere, some evaporative cooling, so it has a cooling effect, less instability, less fuel for these potential storms. So that's what we like.
That's right. So if we look at the severe weather risk, there's a lot of potential. This is a very strong system. The ingredients are in place. Of course, everything has to come together in order for this to come to fruition, and that's not set in stone just quite yet. So I know Reed might have said that the tornado risk might be decreasing. That might be looking at maybe some computer model data. That might be feeling the cloud cover and the cooler weather, and that can always kind of let it go down a little bit. But there we got all hazards possible. Now, you saw it on the previous slides when we were starting up the Facebook Live. This has, in fact, increased now. So now we've got that strong to violent tornado potential basically over the I-49 corridor. And we're on the far western edge of this. This is where the storms will initially develop, and they're going to start moving in. So we're going to be watching that closely. Now, see, at the moment it was cloudy, and now it's kind of sunny again. And so that's the thing. This environment is rapidly changing. And the sun's out in Springdale too.
Sun's out in Highfill.
Yeah, sun's out in XNA. Sun's out in Highfill. Let's see what we've got here for Springdale. So we should have all the cameras pointed to the northwest. There you see some clouds. Look at how fast they're moving too. You can see that low-level shear, and that low-level shear is what's the ingredients for the storms. And so let's go here. And Josh says lots of sun at the Colby Ward's house. So all those ingredients kind of coming together. There's 82 right now with a no, come on.
Oh,
No.
81-degree
A dew point of yes. Boy, that sensor needs to get hit by a tornado.
Dew
I
point
think.
depression
Yeah.
of 1.
I'm saying that jokingly, but it needs to be fixed. It's
There's some fog out there.
yeah, it's a little bit high. That's definitely out of the realm of the possibility. 83 in Fayetteville, 83 in Fort Smith. Let's look at the dew point, what it actually is. Notice how we don't have Springdale on there. 70 and whoa. Now I do believe 78 for the dew point in Fort Smith, which could lead to that stronger severe weather potential. In fact, look at the heat index. And what's interesting about that is that the river valley right now is kind of more in the focus according to what the models are showing for the potential for initial supercell development. Someone said it's raining in Fort Smith, and so we'll look at that. I've got your timing coming up here right next, but there's a look at some of the rain. Now, this is just rain. This is not thunderstorm activity. It hasn't developed and blossomed into thunderstorms yet. We put this into motion, and you're going to see, watch this thunderstorm eruption right about there, 8:39. Now, this model changed. That might be why Reed is saying that's something totally different. But
because earlier we were kind of thinking 4 and 5.
Yeah. So now maybe around 10, 11, but here's the deal. You hear me say it all the time. Don't look at these computer models and look at the future radar and say, this is exactly what's going to happen. It's not that precise. It's not that accurate. It will never be that way. It can get the trends, and they all have storm trends, but yeah, I don't know about that. Moved it all to later. There's already storms popping up to the west. We're going to look at some other stuff here in just a second. Like I said, we're going to go about maybe like 20, maybe 15 minutes at the most. Peyton says pump fake. He knows about that. That has changed. Watch what happens over time. Those storms kind of move out. But we go back in time, and we do look at this. There's that, even though it's not much, there's a supercell that comes through. Well, and then it kind of dies out. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Here's what I think is the timing. And this is kind of everything what we've looked at with the latest trends, not just looking at future radar and going, no, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, and even though the future radar doesn't look very widespread, what you've been saying, Dan, is that it's high impact, low coverage.
Yeah, high impact, low coverage. So what we mean by that is some people, if they're in the path of those supercells, will get, some significant severe weather potential.
Yeah.
Other areas might not see a whole lot. And that might be why Three Doors Down is saying, well, maybe the storms won't form over Rogers.
They're making a big bet.
It's always a possibility. I think the chance of it not impacting the concert at all is very low. But regardless, it'll be something to definitely continue to watch. Okay, I want to look at, we're going to look at some meso-analysis, and we're going to kind of look at some of that stuff. So this is the meso-analysis of the Storm Prediction Center. I'm just going to bring this up full. You've seen our faces enough. This is a look at the instability. So we have definitely an instability gradient, meaning where it goes from really high instability to not as much. But even with that cloud cover and rain, someone said it felt very creepy outside, where it goes from sunny to cloudy. And, we're going to be watching that.
Can't that instability gradient serve as a boundary?
It absolutely can.
Severe storms?
Yeah, here's Beth saying it seriously goes from super sunny to cloudy in minutes. Feels creepy out. It does. It feels like a severe weather day. Now
here's like a springtime day.
Now here's a supercell composite as of now. Supercell composite as of now has come on. Let me move this over here real quick. It has a composite of 28. But if we move along in time, you can see that start lifting northward. But again, the HRRR is kind of backing off on storm development. I would love if that happens. If we dodged a bullet on it, that would be great. And, there's always a chance that does happen. If we look at the significant tornado parameter, that's starting to ramp up, and it's focused in the river valley. And the reason for that is that's where the warm front is, according to what we're all seeing. So if we look, there's the warm front right there. So you've got temperatures that are associated with that. You can see where the warm front's located. It is lifting north, and watch what happens over time. That warm front, well, kind of lifts north, doesn't it? A little bit.
Yeah.
Not as much.
Kind of washes.
If we look at the wind shear, though, 0 to 6 kilometer bulk shear, there's plenty of energy moving in. And if we look at the storm relative helicity, that's starting to increase. So it's all along that boundary. So is it going to be focused in the river valley? Is it going to be in northwest Arkansas? That remains to be seen. But remember that we are under the severe thunderstorm or the tornado watch. And we'll look at that watch and we'll look at the probabilities of this. So it's a probability for moderate tornado, 40% probability. Now, as far as EF2, we are in the hatched area. There is question marks about that. Remember that probability was greater farther east. So maybe, this is a low potential for EF2 because the wind shear right now isn't strong, but the wind shear is expected to increase, get stronger over time, and that'll be something that we have to watch. And then the severe wind and severe hail and the hail over 2 inches. So those are all the probabilities. There's the area of that watch. Last thing I want to do is to look at my favorite called the composite map. We can see the energy moving in. And this is why, models are great, but there's a lot of energy moving in. And there's one system that's going to be the focus. This is what's really going to drive the thunderstorm potential is that right there. If we look at the vertical velocities, they're starting to increase, which is why we saw the rain over northwest Arkansas and the river valley. Here's the jet stream coming in. Look at the dip in the jet stream too. You could see that system coming through. And right now, the warm front, like we said, is just a little south. So maybe that warm front doesn't quite make it as far north as previously thought. Because if we look here,
Kind of have it stalled out.
yeah, maybe it stalls out and maybe it doesn't make it. Because right here, this is what it looks like. There's another boundary that's to the north that will serve as another focus for thunderstorms. And if we go to what it's supposed to be like at 0Z, well, that's like 2 hours from now, and I don't think that's where the front is, to be honest with you.
Over northwest Arkansas.
Yeah, if that happens, that would be kind of really tough. All right, so we've got 30 seconds, just because I do have to get ready for my newscast. So we'll go a few minutes here at the most to kind of talk about what's going on. So, first of all, Josh says, yeah, here, let me bring this up a little bit bigger. But he says this. Be sure to download the Weather Authority app. That's important for sure. Just go to the App Store and then click on Your Weather Authority, and you'll see it. It'll have, of course, our logo that we normally have. So that's what you have there. So let me go back to here, and we'll bring this up, bring the camera up full. So there you go. I got the hook echo tie ready. I didn't wear it quite yet. Sun is out in high full. Farther north is hot and no rain. So there's definitely some rain and thunderstorm activity just to the north. Supercells have to erupt for any tornadoes. That's right, because it's conditional, right? So if supercells don't develop, then we don't see the storms. Rain in Fort Smith, we mentioned that. Let's see here. We've already seen a lot of this. Tawnytown is barely sunny. Clouds are rolling in, and it's kind of like a mix of clouds and sun. Luke Bryan forecast is great. No problems. Rain is a good thing, and it's not for Luke Bryan, so that'll be fine.
Tomorrow?
That's tomorrow night.
Yep.
It was sunny in Gravette this afternoon, but cloudy, windy, and cooler now. I know that cooler weather maybe is a precursor to saying, you know what, maybe it won't be quite as bad. That would be amazing. So it's not going to be as bad as expected in northwest Arkansas. I'm not saying that. I was saying that the models are hinting that the river valley is kind of the focus, but we can't say that with 100% confidence. Winds aren't great now, but if and when that low-level jet kicks in, that's another story. So, yeah, exactly. Remember, this is a great point. Remember, the sirens are for outdoor notification. Don't rely on them as your only source of warning. I agree with this. I love thunderstorms, but not when they do damage.
I agree too.
So had a bad lightning storm in Eureka this morning. Yeah, you could definitely tell the atmosphere was angry. Timing, we've got that up. We'll show you again. Again, mainly later on in the evening. We don't know exactly who and where. The triple point could be in the river valley now if that warm front doesn't lift northward. But then again, it's missing the forcing. So, everything has to come together. But once again, one last look at the severe weather risk is that we have an enhanced risk of severe weather. Yes, we are on the western edge of this. So there's uncertainty as to how everything is going to evolve, of course, in Northwest Arkansas. It's always tough. Sun's breaking out here and there. In fact, if we look at the satellite, we'll look at the visible satellite real quick, and you can definitely tell. I know we've already looked at that, but there are some breaks in the clouds, and actually there's quite a bit of breaks. Look at that off to the west now, but then more clouds roll in. So there's just so much forcing right now. We're just waiting for those storms to pop, but there's the energy moving in. And if we look at the water vapor, boy, you can really see it. So this kind of gives you a precursor as to when the initiation will occur. And the reason the initiation occurred in southwest Missouri right now is because that's where the energy is. But I highly doubt the models are predicting exactly what the storms are going to do, because if you look, you can see this energy. It's so much, Zach, that if it doesn't form storms like the HRRR shows, I would be floored.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyways, at this point, I got to get ready for our show. I told you we will do another update here later on, but I've got to run, man. So take care. That's a quick update for you. We'll be watching. If storms do, in fact, blow up, start becoming severe, and get it close to tornado warning, we'll hop on Facebook Live. We're going to stay on it for the duration of the event.
Yep. Till it's over.
With the shows and everything else. And it'll be over by about midnight to 1 o'clock. Okay, guys, take care. Thanks for watching. God bless. We'll see you later. Be safe and have a great rest of your Wednesday.